You're scrolling through endless wine fridge options because you want something that actually works in your kitchen, not a fancy box of specs you'll never use. You're probably thinking, do I really need a dual zone unit? Will it fit under my counter without looking like a clunky appliance? And will the money I spend actually keep my bottles at the right temperature for years? Those are the exact doubts that keep most buyers up at night, and if you've ever wondered whether a 24-inch model is worth the price tag, stay tuned. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, the Zephyr Presrv 24-inch wine fridge isn't trying to be a showroom piece. It's marketed as a small cabinet that you can slip under a standard countertop, and the dimensions do line up with typical base cabinet heights. That means you can tuck it into a home bar, a kitchen island, or even a walk-in pantry without sacrificing precious floor space. The French-style glass door adds a touch of elegance, but it's the glass itself that matters most. It's dual-pane, low, and argon-filled, which cuts down on heat transfer. In real-world terms, that translates to fewer temperature swings when the door is opened for a quick pour, something that matters a lot if you're storing both reds that need to sit around 55°F and whites that want 45°F. The dual-zone capability is the headline feature, but its practicality is what separates a gimmick from a genuine convenience. Imagine you're a casual collector with a mix of Bordeaux reds and a few bottles of crisp Sauvignon Blanc. With a single-zone cooler, you'd be forced to compromise on temperature, potentially dulling the flavors of one or the other. The Zephyr lets you set separate zones, one side for reds, the other for whites, so each bottle lives in its ideal environment. The temperature range is wide enough for most cellar needs, though the exact numbers aren't listed. Reviewers have noted that it holds steady in typical home settings, even during summer heat spikes. Now, who will actually benefit from this setup? If you're a hobbyist who enjoys rotating a modest collection, say 20 to 30 bottles, and you like the idea of having reds and whites side by side, this is a solid fit. The full extension blackwood racks with stainless steel trim give you a clear view of each bottle, and because they pull out completely, you don't have to shuffle bottles around to reach the one in the back. That's a small but significant quality of life win, especially when you're pulling a bottle for a dinner party and don't want to gamble on which one is still at the right temperature. On the flip side, if you're a serious collector with 100+ bottles, or you need a larger capacity for bulk purchases, the 21-bottle limit will feel restrictive fast. Also, the unit is freestanding, so while you can slip it under a counter, you'll need a bit of clearance behind it for ventilation. Some kitchens with tight back-of-cabinet space might struggle to accommodate the required airflow, which could lead to the compressor working harder and louder over time. Speaking of noise, the active cooling technology is fairly quiet, but the compressor does kick in occasionally, nothing you'd notice during a conversation, but it's there if you're in a very quiet room or using the fridge as a bar in a living room setup. One practical strength that often goes unnoticed is the door open alarm. If you've ever left a wine fridge door ajar and come back to a warm bottle, you'll appreciate that the alarm will beep to remind you. It's a tiny safety net that protects your investment without being intrusive. The electronic capacitive touch control is sleek and intuitive. You set temperatures with a tap, and the LED lighting available in cloud white, deep blue, or amber adds a subtle ambience that can double as mood lighting for a home bar. I've seen people use the amber setting for a warm, inviting glow during evening gatherings, while the deep blue works nicely for a more modern aesthetic. A hidden trade-off is the reliance on a single power source. Because the fridge runs on standard AC power, you'll need an accessible outlet nearby. If you're planning to install it in a built-in cabinet that doesn't have a plug, you'll have to run a cord or get an electrician to add an outlet, an extra step that some first-time buyers overlook. Also, the stainless steel finish on the door and the blackwood racks look great, but they can show fingerprints and dust more readily than a matte black or fully glass unit. A quick wipe down with a soft cloth keeps it looking fresh, but it's an extra maintenance item to keep in mind. The value proposition really comes down to how much you care about temperature precision versus sheer capacity. At a 4.4-star rating from 169 reviewers, the consensus is that the Zephyr delivers on its promises for the segment it targets. Users appreciate the dual-zone flexibility, the clear view of the bottles, and the relatively quiet operation. The few